Hello, and welcome to the JungFaha channel. Today we will be discussing more about The Power to Change by Greg Groeschel. Last time we spoke about Greg Groeschel and the Power to Change book that he wrote. We did the introduction with some commentary. I do advise this is an unprofessional audio book reading. I do thank you for dropping by. And there may be some commentary on my part. And the purpose of reading this book, I'm just trying to empower myself, become better than my current status quo, which I'm not satisfactory with. And I'm hoping to share this with others. So, two birds in one stone. And it also helps motivate me to actually do this and read it. So, I'm definitely using the YouTube platform and streaming platform and the unknowns to motivate something that I should be doing without needing the extra motivation. So I did mention we were going to recap a little bit on the intro. There are some things that they asked. It was exercise number 1, and it reads this on page 5, because I have the actual physical copy. For our first exercise, let's say some groundwork by personalizing this introduction. And make sure that the audio is working. Okay. I'm going to ask you to write down the behaviors you want to change. So that's obviously the author saying that. But first, I want you to forget the time you have attempted to initiate a change, any start or stop. To wipe the slate clean, allow yourself some grace and agree to, to make a new beginning. You may have the same goals, but you'll have a fresh approach. Consider any change you desire, even one you may have given up on a long time ago, and let this be a reset, a refresh, a revival for you, me, and anyone else. So, the 3 things that they want to write down: your starts, your behaviors you want to change, write down your stops, your behaviors you want to get out of your life, and last but not least, they finally, if God told you that he would miraculously change one thing in you right now in this moment, what would you want it to be? So last time here, I have some notes somewhere. I wrote down, actually grabbing the note and flipping the pages, that I would like a change in my health to be perfectly healthy with vigor, vitality, strength, and energy. Meaning I will overcome the severe illnesses that I have that are hindering my capacity at the current moment of being a quote unquote normal human. Quote unquote. Because what is normal, right? So, didn't do a quick pause here. Oh, let's go ahead and take that off. Realize it says starting soon. Oops. Transition. Goodness gracious, I'm getting a little glitch here. What is happening? Oh, that's what's happening. Okay. Move that over. So, what would you put if you want to share in the comments? Uh, if finally, if God told you that he would miraculously change one thing in you right now in this moment, what would you want it to be? You can obviously keep that personalized. Get your own notepad, notebook to do the study with, and or add it to the comment section. Now, I didn't quite understand, so maybe someone can explain this to me. But I didn't understand, what do you mean write down your starts, quotes, dash behaviors you want to change, and then write down your stops, in quotations, dash behaviors you want to get out of your life. Isn't changing getting rid of other ones? So we're going to follow that under a mental block. I'm having difficulty with that, but by all means, please do help. Excuse me for the delay. Okay, there we go. Now, also in the introduction, just to finalize it, it's principle 1: to experience change that lasts, focus on who, not do. For I am about to do something new, so I have already begun. Do you not see it? I will make a pathway through the wilderness. I will create rivers in the dry wasteland. Isaiah 43:19. I'm going to do some volume adjustment here. So be warned, there is a volume adjustment in my voice. All right, so let's go ahead and start the actual read. Part 1.1: Why you do what you do. Here's a truth you need to embrace. If you are ever going to change, what what you do because of what you think of you. Let me repeat that. You do what you do because of what you think of you. Okay, I'm going to rephrase that. I do what I do because of what I think of myself. Don't confuse this with why you think you do what you do. You may think you make decisions based solely on weighing the pros and cons, what makes you happy, what's best for you and your family. Nope. You do what you do because of what you think of you. Let me explain, starting with a story. I'm going to rephrase that. Don't confuse this with why I think I do what I do. I may think I make decisions based solely on weighing the pros and cons, what makes me happy, and what's best for me and my family. Nope. I do what I do because of what I think of myself. Let me explain, starting with a story. Okay, cool. Exhibit A: the church parking lot fight. What? The parking lot fight? I was relatively a young pastor. Our church was still fairly new, and we just had become the proud renters of a small office building. Perhaps we shouldn't have been so proud. It was only just big enough to provide space for our staff's office for meetings. The condition of the building was somewhat between the office and Bates Motel. The neighborhood was, well, questionable, but we'd started out. And there's a box on the bottom right, a gray box with black letters. You do what you do because of what you think you do. Think of you. But we started our church in a garage and had services in rental space, and so yes, we were proud to finally have a real office building, even if everything about it was unimpressive. Until the day we heard, "Fight! Fight!" Pastor Robert and I were working on a weekday afternoon. Yes, pastors work on days other than Sunday. When we noticed cars suddenly streaming into our parking lot, our first thought was that maybe it was a surprise pastor appreciation party. Second thought was there's no way there's a surprise pastor appreciation party. The people who were pouring out of the couple dozen cars were all teenagers who were making a circle, with two guys in the middle, and those two guys started to take their shirts off. Oh, fight. Turns out our parking lot was a designated spot for high schoolers to gather off campus when someone said, "We're meeting after school," and it is on. This was our first fight since we took over the building, and it was about to go down. I don't remember what I was working on, probably parsing Greek verbs because that's all pastors do on weekdays. I'm not sure what Robert had been doing, probably parsing Greek verbs too. Okay, those were in bra- uh, not brackets, parentheses. Parentheses? I think those are in parentheses. But the idea of getting to watch a fight felt more exciting than whatever we were doing. So we ran out the front door yelling, "Fight! Fight!" Even though we were pastors, we were still young males, so I'm not gonna lie, we wanted to watch the fight. But when we got to the parking lot, we looked at each other and both knew we couldn't. We couldn't watch the fight because of who we were. We were Christian, pastors, peacemakers. No matter what we wanted to do, we had to be true to who we were. So we went from fight, fight to break it up, break it up. You do what you do because of what you think of you. Okay. I do what I do because of what I think I do. Because of what I think of myself. Excuse me. I do what I do because what I think of myself. You do what you do because of what you think of you. Almost a tongue twister there. Exhibit B, the Bible. In Proverbs 23:7, God says, "For as he thinks within himself, so he is." NASB. NASB, what? Proverbs 23:7. God says, "For as he thinks within himself, so he is." What does "for as he thinks within himself" mean? We choose the story we believe. Two people who have experienced nearly identical circumstances can come to very different self identities. For instance, if they've been through a lot, the story one might tell herself is, "I'm a victim. Bad things always happen to me." The other might live with a different identity. "I'm an overcomer. No matter what life throws at me, I kick it in the tail and keep moving forward." The Bible says, "For as he thinks within himself, so he is." What does "so he is" mean? Who we are, our character, shapes our thoughts about ourselves and others. What we think is a reflection of who we are. That then shapes our lives. We have no choice but to live out who we think we are. What we think within ourselves we are. We make decisions based on our self identification. In the gray box, there's a gray box. I'm on page 11 here. I'm actually looking at the physical copy. It reads, black letters, gray box. Who we are, our character, shapes our thoughts about ourselves and others. What we think is a reflection of who we are. All right, now we're on Exhibit C. Psychology. Psychologists and other social scientists have repeatedly confirmed what I experienced in the parking lot and what God told us all those years ago in Proverbs 23, that you do what you do because of what you think of you, that we do what we do because of what we think of ourselves. James March, a professor at Stanford University, called this the identity model of decision making. Research shows that when making a choice, we essentially and subconsciously, parentheses, ask ourselves three questions. Who am I? What kind of situation is this? What would someone like me do in this situation? Your self identity is a primary reason that you make decisions. For example, if you work more than is healthy, you might. If you work more than is healthy, you might. What? I'm sorry, my English vocabulary is very poor. Let me read that again. For example, if you work more than is healthy, you might drink 2 glasses of wine when you come home stressed from work. Work out a couple of hours a day, but not find time to read your Bible. Play video games for hours and end up but not find time to work out. Yell at your kids for petty things. You do what you do because of what you think of you. I do what I do because of what I think of myself. We do what we do because of what we think of ourselves. Often, our identities are undetected, undercurrent pulling us into decision and behaviors. Sometimes, though, we do sense the current influencing us and then even blame the influence for our poor choices. Why does your friend keep going from loser boyfriend to loser boyfriend? Ask her. She'll tell you she doesn't want to. It's just who she is. She has always been that way. She wants a guy but always seems to attract the wrong ones. Why does your other friend always struggle with money? Ask him. He will explain he's just not good with money. He doesn't want to, but he's always spent too much, always been in debt. It's just who he is. No, that's not the truth about your friends. But if they continue to believe that to be true of them, it will impact their lives as if it were true. Their behavior is being driven not by their true God given identities, but by their self made identities. I added made, but by their self identities. You do what you do because of what you think of you. I do what I do because of what I think of myself. And we do what we do because of what we think of ourselves. Exercise number 2. So we may need a notepad or a notebook. So I'm going to go ahead and pull mine out. Let you have the time to do that as well. Pencil. All right. Exercise number 2. I'm going to go ahead and use my mechanical pencils and write that down. I like to use pencils because I like the opportunity to correct myself. Okay, it says here, using the quotes, stop behavior you listed in exercise 1. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Think about the belief that is driving your behavior. What is what you think of you motivating the what you do? This is a little bit new to me, so I'm trying my best to cognitively understand this. Get specific in your answers. The deeper you go, the more you can reveal what's in your mind and heart, and then the more you can increase your opportunity for change. Use this exercise to help identify the self-perception that drives you, your repeated result. Identify why behind what identify the why behind the what. Identify the who behind the do. When I, parentheses, stop behavior from exercise 1, parentheses, the underlying belief is that. When I blank, the underlying belief is that. Oh, okay. I'm gonna write that down. When I, parentheses, quote, stop, end quote, behavior from exercise 1, someone needs to learn how to spell, end parentheses, comma, the underlying belief is that. Is that a semicolon? What are the 2 dots? Example. Okay, cool. Example. Thank you. I like examples. When I drink too much, my underlying belief is that the only effective way to escape from stress and pain is to medicate myself. Okay, so let me read that. Examples, dot, dot. When I, parentheses, drink too much, end parentheses, comma, my underlying belief is that, parentheses, the only effective way to escape my stress and pain is to medicate myself, end of parentheses, period. When I, parentheses, choose not to read my Bible, parentheses, comma, my underlying belief is that, parentheses, I don't really believe God will fulfill his promises for me, end of parentheses, period. Interesting. When I, parentheses, continue in that toxic relationship, parentheses, comma, my underlying belief is that, parentheses, this is all I really deserve, parentheses, period. Okay. So this is, I like this. This is actually going to help me with exercise 1. So now I can go back to exercise 1 because I'm having an idea of write down the starts, behaviors you want to change. Okay, no, you know what? I'm going to do number 2. I don't know why I get this mental block on exercise 1. So I'm just going to write down here when and I'm put parentheses because that's what I'm adding. And here it says drink too much as an example, or choose not to read my Bible, or continue in a toxic relationship. So I'm going to say when I choose not to meditate. End parentheses, comma, my underlying belief is that, I'm going to start the parentheses again. Now here they put, if I choose not to read my Bible, underlying belief is that, parentheses, I don't really believe God will fulfill his promises. So that's what they wrote as an example. When I choose not to meditate, that's mine. My underlying belief is that, I don't know, I lack motivation. I'm lazy. I'm in too much pain. I I know it's gonna help me. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I'm not doing it. My underlying belief is that I'm having mental blocks. My underlying belief is that if I'm lazy. My underlying belief is that I lack motivation. I mean, my when I choose not to meditate, my underlying belief is that I'm hurting and in pain due to underlying illnesses. Period. Okay, so I did one. Okay, well, let's continue. And so there is another one. Duplicate the sentence for each behavior in the blank space provided. When I blank. Okay, we did that actually. I'm on page 14 now. And then my underlying belief is that, and it's blank. So we're supposed to fill those out yourself. So feel free to take the time and go ahead and do that. And then here we have principle number 2. What, I mean, you do what you do because of what you think of you. I do what I do because of what I think of myself. And we do what we do because of what we think of ourselves. Jesus looked at them intently and said, humanly speaking, it is impossible, but not with God. Everything is possible with God. So we need help. We can't do it ourselves. We can get help from the community. We can get help from studies, people. So that is 1.1. I think that's going to be all for today. Thank you for watching. Next time, we're going to be doing 1.2, stagnation through behavior modification. So if I had a little bit more energy, I would definitely have continued. I don't know why this made my brain super tired. Weak? It's okay. We'll be stronger. We got this. You too. I wish you the best. Thank you for coming by and listening to The Power to Change by Greg Gershell and by a novice audio reader, myself, JungFaha. Take good care and look forward to hearing from you.